Hello and welcome to Wine and Witchcraft. Tonight, the Coven sisters are gathering under the Virgo moon. Grab your wine and let's get this party started.
Come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be, as a friend, as an old enemy. Take your time, hurry up, the choice is yours, don't be late. Take a rest as a friend, as an old memory. Come doused in mud, soaked in bleach, as I want you to be, as a trend, as a friend, as an old.
Oh my God, hello.
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 Hello, and welcome to Wine and Witchcraft Live. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful full moon. We have a couple of extra faces here. The full coven has arrived. Before we get started, let's do our little normal spiel. Let's take a look and see who is in the chat. We have Kayla Marie, we have Debs, we have the witchy best friend. Oh my God, Owlvine is here. We have Catherine Gallagher. Rachel is here. Let me scroll up and see. We have Maple, Birch Ivy. Francois. It's my first time here. Hello.
Francois. I know Francois. Oh my God.
Debbie Dunaway is here, Amber, the Serpent Witch, and the Smiling Hag. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We ask that you guys please subscribe, share, and like. Get the word out, honey. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what we are drinking tonight. Christina, why don't you get us started? What are you drinking, love?
I am drinking Dark Horse Buttery Chardonnay.
Ooh.
And it's got buttery layers with apple and vanilla. I love vanilla.
Ooh.
Oh,
so that should be good.
Yummy,
that's
yummy.
interesting.
That is interesting. Okay, Owlvine, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the tears of my enemies.
I like that. Very tasty.
Okay, got it. Perfect.
Delicious.
Love that for you. Right on brand. Brittany, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I'm in South Africa tonight, and I don't know how to pronounce it because it's South African. Toucan. Okay, I don't know. Toucana something. Okay. It's from South Africa, and it's supposed to taste like summer melon, green apples, and hints of grapefruit, but it actually tastes like ass. So they lied.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Again,
gonna be a
I'm
rough
Brian.
bottle to get through.
I am in Claremont. I think I'm in Claremont. Am I in Claremont, Florida? I think I am. I am drinking the Keel and Curly wine. It is black raspberry. That's what I'm drinking tonight. And it is like 13%, something like that.
I think you're more than me. I'm 12.5, so you're higher than me.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how this turns out. I think it just says made in Florida. So
What you got, Nina?
California. Mine's California.
So that is what I'm drinking. What else? Oh, somebody is drinking some coffee. Okay, that's fine. We have red wine on the rug. Are you on your period?
What?
Rude.
I dropped a couple of drops. You know what? I did that in my old house. I was on Wine and Witchcraft. I don't know, somehow I missed my mouth. And there were a couple of drops of red wine on the rug. And I just said, fuck it. I didn't even bother trying to clean it up. I'm like, I don't own this house. I don't fucking give a shit. I left that.
Is that how you got is that how you got pregnant? He missed
somehow I missed my mouth.
It really wasn't the wine. I was giving myself an abortion. No.
There you go. Women's rights. Okay, we have someone drinking Belgian beer. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what are we doing tonight? Why are we here? What's going on? Who am I? What's happening? Who is this? Hey, how you doing?
I love how Justin doesn't. Oh, look, I'm blurry again.
So weird.
See, I'm trying to make everybody feel like they're drunk already. Okay,
right, literally.
We're celebrating friendship. We're celebrating friends.
Yes, Justin doesn't speak at all in the green room. He just acts silent, and then when it's showtime, he acts like this.
Come alive.
I'm like, okay, I guess. All right, we're doing the thing.
You know, you have to reserve your energy so that you can perform. So that's what it is.
Drinking water, but smoking some good food. Smoking some.
Oh,
I
hear that, babe.
I thought she was talking about smoking weed. And I'm like, smoking food? What?
I mean, if that's what you want to do, go for it. We've done that before.
We have.
That was a great episode. That was great.
So tonight is all about the Coven sisters. So for those of you who are new here, which there's a few, but we have all really grown to love each other in our own ways, in every way possible. These are some beautiful people. There's a couple beautiful people in here. There's a couple not so beautiful people in here. I'm just kidding. Okay, this wine's hitting me. I was trying to hold it now, and now I'm like, whoa, it's coming alive. Hello, Lavender Hazelwood Witches and Kendra's Journey. Hello, hello, hello. Aradia's here. Hello, people. So tonight we're talking all about friendships and the beautiful relationships we've built online and the gloriousness that is this sisterhood that we are building together, which I think is beautiful. There you go. That's all I have to contribute to the hour and a half.
So this whole premise came about because we were talking about, I mean, Justin and I have been doing YouTube for a long time, off and on, obviously, but we originated back when, was it 2009, 2010, you know, when YouTube was still kind of in its infancy. And back then, you know, the internet had been established, but it still had that kind of, you know, kind of thing to it. And if you told anybody back then that your best friend you met through YouTube, people would look at you like, excuse you? You know, that was back then. Now that we have dating apps and we have all these different things and we have, you know, Twitter or what is it called now, X or whatever. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, you know, we're out of the generation of MySpace now. We've actually evolved. People find it interesting and less weird when you say your best friend lives in Australia. Your best friend lives in Las Vegas, you know, and then you ask you, how did you meet that person? You say, well, actually via Facebook or actually via YouTube or Instagram or whatever it may be. And I think that still to this day, not as much, but people poo-poo on the idea of like, you can't really meet real friends via the internet. So we just kind of want to talk about what it's like to be a witch, and we don't do the church thing, right? And that's where a lot of Christians and Catholics, they meet their brotherhood, their besties, that whole thing. We don't do that. This is what we got, you know? And then you also get your metaphysical shops and your tarot group, your drum circles. But when you're not like a group person, because not every witch is like a group kind of person. A lot of solitary witches like to just do things on their own. This is how they meet people. And you build those lifelong friendships. And that's kind of what we've done here. So we just kind of wanted to talk about like what it's like to be a witch and meeting people that you consider lifelong friends via doing this.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's why I actually got onto YouTube in the first place. I just wanted to meet people. Like, I was getting into magic and I didn't know anyone else who was into it. I actually thought, I was so naive and little. I was like, am I the only witch in Australia? Because everyone I kept finding on YouTube was from America or England or whatever. But that's why I originally came on. I was like, I need community. I want to like talk about this stuff and connect with people. And it's been the best thing. You know, it took a long time at the beginning, particularly, you know, just kind of, because it is weird. And we come from that generation. Now it's super normal to have online friends, I feel. For the generation like Z and below, super normal. But for us, it still has that like, there was that bit of taboo there, especially back then. YouTube wasn't big and huge and social media wasn't what it is now. But yeah, I'm really glad I did that, because I like some of my closest friends are from elsewhere. Like I wouldn't, and even the ones that are in Australia, I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for online witchy space. So I think it's pretty incredible the kinds of people that you can meet through this, like I was going to say this platform, but through whatever platform, online platforms now.
Absolutely. When I first moved to Las Vegas, I didn't know anybody except for my husband and some rock and roll friends, you know, but I didn't know any witches. I didn't know anyone. So I actually went and joined social media groups like Meetup, and I found a bunch of different groups through there. And I have met the most amazing friends and people in my life. Like you said, my tarot group, my witch circle, my coven. Hi, Leslie. She's here. And it's wonderful, you know? And so, you know, having an online, knowing people online and having a best friend online, even if you've never met them in person, it does not make the friendship any less real. It's very real.
That's a very good point that people seem to forget. You know, like I've obviously met everybody here except for Owlvine. You know, she's the only one that I've met. And then Justin hasn't met Owlvine or Nina, but that's going to happen. So that's not going to, you know, and then I know Owlvine on her bucket list is to get her booty over to America. So for various different things, including meeting us. So I know, and you know, where she works through a business that is in America. So she has that tie. So why wouldn't you come to America for a vacation? You know, so we know that's going to happen. So right now at this point, Justin hasn't met Christine in person. We all have not met Owlvine in person, but our friendship is as if we had.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's what the cool thing is about the whole picture, you know?
Well, too, it's one of those things.
Brittany, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Christina. Go ahead, love.
Oh, I was just going to say, when I met you, when you came to Vegas, Brittany, it was like I'd known you forever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we have known each other, not forever, but we've known each other. And it didn't skip a beat. It was like, hello, you're here. Yeah. All right, let's go. So
right. It was one of those things where I felt like, you know, I just hadn't seen you in 5 or 6 years because you lived in Vegas, and you know what I mean? But we had like gone to high school together or something like that. You know, it seemed like we just had reconnected.
It does feel like that.
It does. Yeah. And I kind of feel like the same thing with Owlvine. I've never met her. She's never come to the United States. I've never been to Kangaroo Land. But at the same time, it's kind of like when we talk every day or every other day or every 4 days, you know?
One time. It's one time.
They're never going to let you forget that.
Yeah. But anyway.
No, but it's as if it. I think my cat's just knocked something over. It's as if, you know, we had, which is the weird but cool thing at the same time.
I think it's absolutely amazing because there's conversations about like stuff going on, and there's a conversation going on, like there's a hashtag going on, and this feeds so much into this because there's a lot of negatives that come right with occupying a space online in the witchy occult space, right? There's a lot of like not great things that go into it. But one of the best things that I've experienced is just being able to invest in good quality friendships. Do you know what I mean? That change you not just on a spiritual level or not just on a craft level. And I think that's what we focus on so much because like that's what we're here for, right? Is witchy resources and to learn and to grow and to implement new things into our practice. And all that's great. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something truly magical when the relationship takes a turn from spiritual to mundane. I think that's the most beautiful part when it's just learning about each other's kids and, bitching about your spouse or just talking about the dishes, whatever it is, when that relationship takes a turn. And, Brittany, like you were saying, I do think, and Alvine was saying too, in the green room is, years ago, it was kind of taboo to meet people online, and it is more socially acceptable, especially in like the dating scene. But just thinking about what my life would look like, or what, if you want to go more in genre, what my practice would look like. I don't know if I hadn't met some of these ladies, like where I would be, what that experience would be like, because you build a relationship that is daily. And it's not just about like, okay, what deity are you working with? Or how do you do this? It's just the mundane shit. And that's what I think is so beautiful. And I do think also you get what you give in a relationship. And that's why I think sometimes online relationships get a bad rap, because in some ways you have to put more of an effort. Like the person doesn't just live down the street. Like you have to put in the effort to reach out, to check in, to do those things. Some people disappear for 4 days and you don't know if they're dead or alive, and they act like they don't care. Everybody has a different way of approaching friendships. We can't all be
dude, like seriously, he was ready to seriously call the Australian police.
I seriously was like, what town? I was like, if I don't hear from her in the next 6 hours, I even told Brittany, I was like, I don't know if they do well checks in Australia, but I'm calling the local police department.
I would have been so pissed if you guys had called the cops on me. Can I just say that would have been a problem? All right.
Oh my God. And then I was like, well, before you do that, I was like, let me Google like her real full name and and Sean's real full name, because if they got in a car accident or something, and I know the town they live in, so like if you put in their name and their town, if there's something bad that happened, like it's got to be on the internet, So I'm like, and I was like, okay, good news. There's no Owlvine and her husband anywhere from Australia on the internet. So we're good. She's not in a ditch.
I literally was Googling like YouTuber found dead, witchy YouTuber dead, full name, looking in the city. And I was like, I don't care. She can be pissed. Yeah, they'll bang on her door and she's going to be like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's what you signed up for when you agreed to be friends. You cannot 2-3 days.
I didn't see that fine. I didn't know how crazy you guys were before we became friends. Okay.
That just means you were so loved. You were so loved.
And that's
when
how I
she
felt.
said that, she was like, I feel loved and I feel terrible all at the same time.
Be a little bit of stalked, but that's okay. It's a good
slightly stalked. Thought I could feel a satellite.
I just have to say, Alvine, we now know your middle name. I'm just gonna say that. We now know what it is.
It's in the vault.
It's in the vault, but we know what it is because we had to do the little searchy roo.
Oh God.
Oh shit.
Fucking hell. It's just
I'm just glad that Nina when I started being friends with Nina, I'm glad that she told me, look, girl, I don't have alerts on my phone because it drives Jizzy nuts. So I if I get to it, I get to it, but don't think I'm dead because it's been 24 hours and I haven't checked your message. Because if she hadn't told me that, I'll be this bitch.
Yeah, everybody who knows me knows that I don't have the notifications on, and half the time I don't have my phone with me and it's in the other room or it's on silent and I don't know it and people are calling. So they don't freak out because they know me. and I'll eventually get back. It's not like I'm ignoring you. I'll look and
Right.
go, oh, 17 messages. Okay, let's catch up.
Yeah. Usually it's like if 7 days goes by and I haven't heard from Nina, that's a whole different story. But
That's a
24
lot.
to 48 hours is pretty much normal.
Mhm.
Well, Kendra, I think that that's normal. I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of our relationships are online, and I don't think that's innately a bad thing. I think a lot of people say a lot of negative stuff about people having mainly friends online, but I think there's a lot of social anxiety going on with everything that's happening in the world. I mean, we got wars going on everywhere. You know, the school violence is at an all-time high. Like, people are scared to
Locked
leave
in
the
our
house.
houses for 2 years. Well, some of us anyway.
Literally. So it's like, you know, you need an outlet, and I don't think that's innately bad to feel like majority of your friends are online. I just don't, I refuse to believe that that's a bad thing. I just don't.
No, it's
I don't
not.
think it's a bad thing. I think there is certain level of connection that can only come when you are with someone physically in person. All those little things, it's just totally different to be in person with someone. So I don't feel like the internet is a full substitute for that. I think a lot of people are missing out because they are just staying with comfortable online relationships rather than having those deeper interpersonal, you know, and I'm talking obviously about even like meeting your friends from online and things like that. Like, you just can't beat physically being with someone on a physiological level. But I think it's one of those things where you've just got to be really honest with yourself. Like, am I feeling fulfilled? Am I feeling like I have connections? Am I putting in effort to get to know people? All that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like this with everything. If it's a problem, it's a problem. But if it's not, like, it doesn't have to be a problem. If you can work it, then like, amazing. And I think, like you said, with our lifestyle and everything now, more people are going to online spaces, but also for that comfort as well. So I just feel like that's just a little bit of a thing to think about. Like, celebrate the online thing, but also know that being physically with someone is very important as well.
I completely agree with that. Now, you know, I'm being called out here by the Witch of Crows. This bitch was in my fucking state. Nothing. Just saying. Yeah. So my best friend from high school, we went back to Massachusetts for a funeral, and he really wanted to see me, and we drove down to where the fuck does he live? I don't know, some town in Rhode Island's like, you know, this big. And she's like, excuse you? Because I think I posted on Facebook or something that I was in wherever he lives in Rhode Island. I don't even know where. And she's like, excuse you? You know, I'm like 10 minutes down the road, right? I'm like, oops.
Oh.
Well, people come to Vegas all the time, and half the time I never see them. Even my own family. They're always like, oh, let's get together on Sunday, you know, the day before we leave. And then they're exhausted, their feet hurt, they're hungover, and it never happens. So I'm used to that.
There is also some social anxiety with meeting people. Like, there was people on the book club that have come to Florida and are like, hey, let's meet. I was working, but there is some anxiety with that, because I've met some, how do I say this? Fuck it, I'll just say it. You meet some people in person and you just realize, okay, ew.
Well, usually that's when someone's being fake, being a different persona. And then when you meet them in person, you get the real, who they really are. But you're thinking they're like how you guys interacted on the internet. And you're like, I have not come across that yet. That has not happened to me yet. Knock on wood.
Yeah, same. Me neither.
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting dynamic when you're moving from online to in person. But I do, Alvine, I do agree with you. I mean, meeting, I don't know. I feel like that when Brittany, when you and I met, it was the same as like an online experience. And I think it'll be the same with Christina. And then eventually whenever Alvine hops on a plane, you know, I think it'll, that's true. I would love to come to Australia. I'll crash on your couch. Lord knows.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, honestly, the weird thing is, because I had met you, Justin, so many years ago, there was a level of nervousness back then, but once you opened the door and we sat on your couch, like literally 60 seconds into the conversation, it was like we had gone to high school together. Same thing happened with Nina when we had made plans to go out there for my birthday. there was like this much nervousness, but then when she pulled up and got out of the car and I hugged her, it was like, okay, I'm good. You know, so you have that, like, are they going to be the same? But once you get in their energy and you feel their energy and you realize they're genuine people, it's gone. And that's kind of what happened with Rachel and you. When I met you guys, we sat on the couch and I was like, okay, I'm good. You know, and then you almost get us kicked out of Target. That was a whole thing. You know, but it was the same thing with Nina. And I really do, because it was very similar for me, and you and I are a lot alike, Justin. I know when Nina comes down or we go out there, whatever the situation may be that we meet, it's going to be the same thing with you and Nina. You're going to meet her and be like, okay, I'm good. It's trust me. It's how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
Did want to ask you ladies, what do you, looking at your practice, how do you think it would be different if you hadn't met the friends that you have online? How do you think that would affect your practice? Do you think it would be different? And if so, how? Christina, why don't you go first?
Me? Okay. I think it would be different in the way that meeting that friend in person and having that connection. I've also met so many other wonderful friends through them, you know, or through the gathering that we go to, or the full moon ritual they invite me to, or whatever it may be. So it has expanded my circle, but I always say quality over quantity with friendship. Absolutely. But it's expanded my circle, but it's expanded my experiences. I get to see how this person does their ritual or practices or what deity they work with. And I learn so much from everyone. And it's a nice to have that personal connection at least once in a while. You know, it makes you feel a part of something else, a little more connected.
What about you, Alvine?
It's very difficult for me to answer this question because I came into online space when my craft was only like maybe a year and a half old or something. So I was still a very new witch when I started in the space. So I would say that like YouTube particularly has massively impacted my practice in every way. I don't even know, like just the way that I study, the things that I look at, this drive that I have to continually grow and move and stuff is a little bit externally driven. Like I wouldn't do it for myself as much. In terms of friendship, so the first person I met from online was Crimson Fire, and that was going back maybe like 7 years ago or something now. I'm not, maybe even more. But we had that thing where when we met, it was like, oh, ours was a little different. We were like, we've known each other before. Like there was like, it was really interesting. It was like immediate connection because we hadn't spoken much online. Like I had a 5-minute conversation with her or whatever before when we were organizing to catch up, and then met her and it was just like, wow, like instant connection. And so her impact on my craft is fucking massive. Like she was a mentor for me, just being her and kind of watching what she did, and then I started working with her as well. We met other people from YouTube too through her, so Coven people. It was really interesting. Can I just say, so all right, a lot of people I think on YouTube don't necessarily seem like they have a big personality, right? But we're all on YouTube for a reason. So when I was in a room with like 4 or 5 other people who were on YouTube, who I think, oh, these are just like really chill, kind of introverted people. No, everyone's got a fucking, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, yes, I'm on YouTube. Like it was really interesting, just personalities. Everyone had a showman in them. Yeah, so I don't know all the ways, but like my craft, I mean, it wouldn't be anything like what it is now without online people.
Absolutely.
What about you, Brittany?
I have to say, and you know, I can bounce it completely off of my friendship with you, Justin. You know, when we practiced together, and you know, I met you via doing this. You know, if you weren't involved in my life and I hadn't met you and become friends with you, you know, think about back to when, like 6 months before we went to New Orleans, when you called me up and said, hey, I think I'm going to look into a little bit of hoodoo and root work and see what that's all about. And if you hadn't whispered that little birdie in my ear, and I'm like, I wouldn't have cracked open some books and really looked down that avenue and implemented some things. So I think that friendships that you meet online, when they're studying something that might pique your interest, you're kind of like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me get a book on that and read that too, or, same thing with being friends with Olivine. She'd be like, bitch, I got this book. I'm sending it to you. Read it, So it's kind of like one of those things. Would I have gotten that book otherwise? Probably not, and then I have got 2 friends that send me the goddamn same freaking book on my birthday. So now I got 2 copies, so it's kind of like, which was actually, it was funny, but it actually worked out because one I can mess up and highlight and notate, and one I can just read. So you don't feel like you're messing up a book because you have a book as like a workbook. So it actually worked out perfect for studying what I need to study. So I have to say that having friends that you've met online that are in the same spiritual path as you, and it's not necessarily exactly the same. I mean, we all 4 of us practice witchcraft completely different, but we overlap in areas where we do things the same. And I think that if I take you guys out of the equation and throw you guys away and it's just me, I probably would have been the witch I was at least 8 to 10 years ago. I wouldn't have brought a lot of these elements in. I wouldn't have even known some of these things existed. Certain things like Nina turned me on to a tarot deck that I had never even freaking heard of. Now I'm obsessed with it. So it's like your friends introduce you to these bits and pieces of culture, of art, of witchcraft, because they all tie in together, right? And they put little bugs in your ears to study this, study that. So you start growing. And without those people, you'd probably still be the root system. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you, Aradia. I appreciate that. And this is, why I do this? I do this a lot. And Brittany and Alvine can both attest to this. When I see newer people, I do reach out and I try to be supportive as I can. Brittany does the same thing. Let's have them on the show. They got 200 subscribers. Let's have them on the show. And the reason why is when I came back to YouTube, Brittany batted for me, made videos about me, shared everything. And that's the community aspect. Like, I don't know. I'm big on that. I want people to feel like they're part of the community because you are innately, whether it's your first video and you have 1 subscriber or you have 10,000 subscribers, you're a part of this community that we have. And you are valuable regardless of how many people are watching you. And I just feel like I don't have a big following, but I can at least lend my voice to get you seen. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, the same thing happened with Olivine. I found her kind of like sort of by an accident, but sort of not, because she was, this is back, what was it? God, it was like 6 years ago or 7 years ago or something.
When I was making videos.
When she was making videos, but it was when you lived with the chickens, is when you lived in the old house, right? So I don't know how I found her. It was probably like recommended or whatever. And I was at work. And I clicked on her video and it was so good that I was like, okay, how do I watch the rest of her videos without getting caught at work? That was literally my main goal for that day. And I worked at the Walmart Academy at the time. So we were in classrooms and at certain times of our day, we had to study for the course we were going to teach. So I took some headphones and an iPad and I went into one of the classrooms and I sat so I could see the door. And I had the iPad with the headphones on. I wasn't studying no Walmart business shit. No, I was watching fucking Owlvine videos. And I literally binged like her whole channel in one day at work. I didn't do anything that had to do with Walmart. Fuck Walmart. I didn't do a damn thing. But I watched her videos. So then I just fell in love with her, right? So I'm like, this girl is amazing. So I'm like, I subscribed to the whole thing. And then I started making videos again. She didn't know who the hell I was at the time, right? She didn't know I had been a part of YouTube back in Tiptoe Chick days, like way back in the day. She didn't know me from a hole in the wall. But I started making videos again. And I made a video that was slightly controversial. And at least, I mean, I didn't think it was, but a lot of people, felt called out because they thought that I was talking about them. So I had these bullies like coming after me, because I made this controversial video. And the first person to inbox me was Olivine. Girl, I just saw your video. Let me tell you, you ain't wrong. And let me tell you why. And she was just backing my ass up. And so then her and I started chatting back and forth. And then it became a thing. And then she subscribed to me. And then it became Justin comes back on YouTube. Bish, you gotta check this bitch out. So then it became a thing. And then Nina comes on YouTube. She starts following me. She starts following Justin. She starts following Owlvine. And then she's in my book club. And I'm like, you guys gotta check this bitch out. So it became like a thing,
And that's the beautiful thing is that they're a big part of what the community is all about networking, and I mean, I was pretty new to my witchcraft practice when I started YouTube, because the only experience I had before YouTube was a girl that wound up, trying to fuck up our lives and stole Rachel's identity. And it was a whole big thing. I made a story time about it, but that was my only experience. And then I came on YouTube and it's like, oh, wow. Okay, this is way different than like my in-person experience that I've had with people. And I have I have to echo what Brittany said. Like, I don't feel like my practice would even be remotely where it is today if I didn't have the relationships that I have with people, or been, I just exposed to different ways of practicing magic. I mean, I incorporate the Bible and saints and hoodoo and root work. And there's no way I ever would have been where I am today without the influence of YouTube and the people I've met through it. Like, I don't know, Alvin, it's like almost not quantifiable. Like, I can't even imagine what it would look like, because I was literally one of those people that felt like, I'm no longer Christian. All of those elements have to stay away. They cannot be incorporated into my practice. That's unacceptable. And that was my mentality. And then seeing how other witches practice their witchery made me feel like, okay, I have this space to do whatever it is I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, magic looks different for everybody. Why not explore that? I just don't know how I would have progressed in my practice without this sort of dialogue, and then to build friendships that have open and honest conversations. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what it would look like without this influence, without social media.
Now, a good thing that, Nina's here, and it was Faye Are My Soul is kind of like Nina. Nina doesn't, she's got a channel, and I use in air quotations because it's a placeholder for her to be able to comment, like, subscribe to all the things, right? We're still, peer pressuring her into making a tarot channel, but that's a whole thing. Anyway, so if your husband can do it, you can do it, Bish, okay? So... we do
want to have a tarot study here. So hello, Nina.
Yeah. So I've already told her. She's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, you don't even have to put your face on. We just need to see your hands in the cards.
My hands.
Yeah, we just need to see your hands in the cards.
You have lovely witchy hands.
Yeah.
Get your nails done, girl, and let's call it a day. So, when it comes to YouTube, it's not just about someone who's a content creator. And Nina's a good example of that, because we've all become so close, and she doesn't make content. And, Faye brought this whole thing up. I don't make videos, but support all the lovely people who do, because I am. So it's kind of like one of those things where you don't have to be a content creator to have this.
Right.
Well, and the thing too is, when you really look at it, and I recorded a video today, it'll be out tomorrow, but it's going to take 7 hours to process. So I made a video about the occulty hashtag, so that'll be coming out. But I wanted to mention this because in the video, I talk about the fact that I feel like there's always this conversation about content creators, which is valid. Like, that's a valid conversation to have. But the major populace of our community is the people who don't make the content, like Christina, that are constantly sharing, liking, commenting, and I'll be the first one to tell you, in my own personal experience, that there has been people who have talked shit, who have done me dirty. And you want to know how I know? From the viewers who watch everybody. And they're like, hey, I love you. I just wanted you to let you know X, Y, and Z. Like, the majority of people who engage in our community are not the content creators. They're the people who are consuming the content. And we have to give them the shout out that they deserve, because they're what's really actually driving the content. They're what's driving the community more so than the content creators, exactly like Dana is saying. They are the ones driving the community. They're still a part of the community, whether you're making content, video, Instagram, whatever it is. You are still as much as part of the community as someone who has 100,000 subscribers. You are still valid. You still matter.
Right.
Just saying.
Because, I mean, you got to remember, not only, I mean, some videos are 3 minutes long, some videos are 50 minutes long, some videos are 20 minutes long, but these people are taking time out of their day, sitting in front of their phone, their iPad, their computer, their laptop, whatever, and consuming your content, listening to your head noise, your ideas, your spiritual practice, if you just, you know, you talk about life, whatever your channel's about, and they're consuming it, and then they're taking the time to click the subscribe, click the like, share the video, but then also sit there and write a paragraph or two, or I've had many paragraphs worth of a comment. You know, that's time consuming. And that when you do that, they don't realize how much that means to, because that's where the conversation happens, right? Is in our videos, when someone puts their head noise in there, or their 2 cents, or you'll do a video, say you're feeling down that day and your video is really not as peppy as you usually are. You know, somebody will say like, girl, I love your makeup today. Oh my God, your hair looks awesome. And it's now turned into someone cared enough to, they recognize that I was not as peppy as I usually am. And maybe it's a depressing video, whatever it may be. And they took the time to be like, girl, you know, I missed your video, whatever it may be. And they lift people up. I mean, that's huge. That's the backbone to the whole damn operation, right?
Well, coming together and supporting each other and helping each other along your path. I've learned so many different things from different YouTube creators, but it's also a community. That's what we have, is a wonderful community.
Agreed. I mean, you have to be able to, I feel like in a lot of these conversations, the viewer is the one that is, you know, consistently left out. And I think we're all guilty. All content creators are guilty, because the experience of a creator, I think, is innately different than somebody who just views content. I don't think one's more valuable than the other, but the conversations about being a creator seem to always take the forefront over the people that actually are consuming the content. And maybe the people who consume it don't understand the power that they have. You know, they choose who is the next big thing in the community, who gets the views, who gets to subscribe. I mean, really, that's how it works. You know, you can have all the information be as entertaining as you want, but if people don't resonate with you, it ain't gonna happen. You know, and a lot of times the viewers are the ones that get left out of the conversation. And I think, you know, just to toot our own horn here, I feel like that's what we try to be. We try to keep the viewer at the forefront for that reason, because without them, what are we doing? We're talking to a wall. Who wants to do that? Like, you have to bring value to the people who engage with your content. Otherwise, you just seem like an asshole. You know,
and that's why I try to like and heart every comment, because I know you know, people get notified. You know, so-and-so liked and hearted your comment, letting people know I read it. And, you know, if I can, I try to reply to every single comment, because I want people to know that it's appreciated. If they're going to take the time to comment on my video and watch my bullshit, you know, I'm going to try to give them a reply, you know, even if it's a simple thank you, you know, something to show that, hey, I saw you, I hear you, thank you so much for coming by. You know, it's kind of the respectful thing to do. And if I can't leave a reply, I at least like and heart, so that, because I know they get notified of that, you know.
Kendra's saying, she's talking about the occulty tag, but she was saying she thinks it's good, but now kind of feels bad, or maybe it's looked down upon for staging stuff for videos. What do you guys think?
I don't know what the occulty tag is, so you'll have to give me a rundown of what she's talking about.
So, okay, so the occulty tag was, the hashtag was created by the Redhead Witch, the Polish Folk Witch, and Ella Harrison, and it's extensive. Okay, this video will be out tomorrow that I created. It's an hour and 12 minutes. Okay, so just to be prepared for that. And it goes through a lot. And basically, they're talking about some of the major points. Let me look it up real quick. There's subcategories for each section. I'm just going to read off the titles, and then you guys can just do whatever you want with that. The first topic is impact on the community. The second is about influencer authenticity. The third is about imposter syndrome and fear of missing out. And the fourth is capitalizing off of the community. And what a lot of people are talking about within the tag is how a lot of creators are staging spell work, and how some viewers, a lot of viewers don't understand that what they're seeing isn't something that's actually happening. They're staging it for educational purposes. And there's also the flip side where creators are selling it as though it's an actual working, not kind of telling people that it's just staged. And then it builds this expectation that every witchcraft working is supposed to look a certain way and supposed to be a certain way. So
mine's
I mean,
a lot messier.
yeah, as far as staging is concerned, I think it's okay if you're disclosing to people who are watching it that you're staging it. There's a lot I have to say, and you're gonna have to wait for the hour and 12-minute video.
I mean, I agree. A lot of people have issues with people doing spellcraft on the internet. The real thing, you know. They have issues with showing the actual working as it's being worked on the internet. I don't think I have never actually done a working where I'm actually doing the working. Anything that I've ever shown has always been, this is how I do, to show you how I do things, to give maybe people ideas. They can pull pieces if they want to, or just omit the whole thing, you know, just to kind of let people into my practice. But like you were saying, Justin, I do preface, hey, this is not a real spell. This is just, I'm showing you how I would do it, but it wouldn't be on the internet. It would be cameras off, my personal self and deity, you know, the whole 9 yards. But I think that also goes into the whole Instagram conversation where people got annoyed with Instagram because people are putting, you know, these pictures of witchcraft on there that are so beautiful and picturesque. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're making it look to newcomers to the spiritual path that's what it's supposed to look like. No, bitch, like I have like herbs all over the floor. There's wax in my carpet. I got ashes on my ass. You know, that's like real witchcraft. And people were saying what they wanted was show us the messy, show us the candle that spilled over, show us, you know, how you have herbs all over your floor. You know, people really wanted the messy, and what they were seeing on Instagram was all the neat and tidy pretty. And I do love the neat and tidy pretty. I mean, everybody loves a good witchcraft photo, but it should be disclosed that, you know, this is for photographic elements, artistic elements, you know, only. And I think that I understand what Kendra is saying is like, you know, should we be showing this stuff? And if we are showing the stuff, should we be disclosing that this is just to show you how I do, but this is not necessarily the real deal? So it can kind of go either way.
For me, I have tried to, I sound super weird to myself. Do I sound okay to you guys? Sorry, I just got weird feedback then. Okay, so I've actually tried.
Your mic volume needs to be turned down a smidge.
Okay, what about now?
Now it's better. Well, yeah, now it's better.
Okay, great. So I actually tried not too long ago to cast a spell while I was sort of showing people how to do it. So this was with work. So this is with a small group of people. But I couldn't do it. Like I was like, I planned the whole thing. I'm actually going to work the spell, but I just ended up like I'm explaining things to them, and I'm like, I can't work this how I need to actually work this. So about halfway through, I sort of was like, all right, guys, like honestly, I'm really not doing this as I would. And because like things were taking a long time, like even like I'm going to carve a candle now. And it's like, okay, and I'm aware that, you know, people are sitting there. So it's two completely different things, casting magic and showing magic. And I think this is a thing that we just need to break down now. If you see someone that is showing you a spell from multiple angles and it looks gorgeous, it's not fucking real. It's just not. It's not. You can't focus. Like if there is edits and all that, the actual magic of witchcraft is not interesting to look at. Don't you agree? Like it's
I agree.
Yes.
Setting intention, your focus, your, you know, and even if you're using physical tools, those things are taking time. Like it's not interesting to see. And I think like there are people who have shown real witchcraft in a way that is not acceptable now. Bear with me for a second. So the Lady Grave Dancer used to show actual magic. So she would like do a thing, you know, and then, but she wasn't talking. She was like showing a thing and then, you know, and I do think there are people that may do that, you know, so like I'm showing a real thing. I don't know, maybe they even have multiple cameras set up. I don't know. But most of the time, okay, if you are seeing something that looks gorgeous, most likely it's at least been edited. That's what I do in my space. My space is my space. It's gorgeous for me. It's not for anyone else. But I will take out the extra jars and bottles. I'll just sweep up that thing, you know, I'll move that light out of the way or whatever. Like, it's edited. So I think we just need to, I mean, listen, if you're a new witch, you don't know, right? And I feel like it's most harmful, I guess, to new witches. And I felt exactly the same, just completely inadequate, you know. But I don't know, maybe we just need to keep having those conversations, because it's like, yeah, I mean, the internet, social media, and particularly Instagram, I think has really like ruined that, because we're rewarded for our aesthetic. That's just
well, and that's the thing, and that's part of the conversation that I have in my video is I don't know if the algorithm is what's doing it, that's making people behave in this way, or if it's the algorithm knowing what people want, and so that's what it pushes. But you know, I'm going to go out on a whim and say I don't even think it's just new witches. I think it's witches across the board. There has been an expectation built, and it is validified by likes and follows and subscribers and everything else, that in order to reach a level of success, to get Llewellyn to send you free shit and, you know, get free fucking bullshit and all these endorsements, you have to look and behave a certain way and have a certain aesthetic that is going to feed the viewer. And if you don't do that, you are not going to reach the same level of success. And, you know, the truth of the matter is the organic growth that would happen, you know, 10 years ago, I don't think happens anymore. I refuse to believe that. And it just may be me. I'm just not talented enough. I don't resonate with people. I don't know what it is. But I've been on YouTube this time for 3 years, and there's people who've come in after me who have tens of thousands of subscribers. And you either have to be a high priestess, an author, you know, take a position of power, whether you are entitled to it or not, in order to push the narrative and to get the numbers. And that's just the truth. It is. I find frustrating that capitalism has found its way into this corner of the universe of the internet. Yes. It's true.
Yes.
You know, I'm going on a rant. I'm so sorry, but I feel the same way. Like, I'm over it. I'm so fucking sick of it. I am so fucking sick of everybody selling me something. Yeah. Everyone's got no disrespect to anybody. Like, there's some great people who are selling shit. Okay. I'm not calling anybody out in particular. I'm just saying, like, good goddamn. Everyone's got a fucking self-published book. Everyone's got a fucking tarot service. Everyone's got a fucking lesson. Like, I'm over it. You're not special. Not everyone needs to sell me something. Like, good goddamn, I'm over it. I'm just so sick and tired of it. Like, I literally said this in the video. I feel like I'm at a flea market, and I log on to YouTube, and every goddamn person is selling me something. Like, milk is fucking $8 a gallon, bitch. I don't have the $4.99 to fucking buy something from you. You know, why can't we just connect?
Right. I mean, I completely agree. You know,
I'm just over it.
People that we've reached out to that we enjoy their content or their Instagram or whatever, we've Justin and I, through the 4 years of doing this show, have reached out to a handful of people that choose not to be on Wine and Witchcraft because it wouldn't be good for their public image, let's just say. And honestly, it's sad that they've gotten to the point where they're authors or they're hawking something or whatever it may be, that they're trying to make this image. And because Wine and Witchcraft is a very uncensored, off the cuff, comedic, educational, fun show where we swear and say things that aren't appropriate, and that's part of the fun, they're like, oh, I can't do that. I have to keep this image. And that's sad, because sometimes these authors have a good thing going and that we want to share. And, they don't want to be a part of the chaos that is Wine and Witchcraft. And that's sad that they're choosing their persona over a connection. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm going to say this. I think the persona is part of the problem in the community. Hello, Leanne Smith. I saw your video. You tagged Wine and Witchcraft. Thank you so much. I did tell Brittany about
love
it.
Her.
Love
you haven't
her.
checked out her channel, you guys, go to
check out her channel. my video is coming tomorrow. But
here's the thing. I just want to say that, just as a side note, hold your thought. Remind me after the show about Miss Smith, because I don't know who she is, and
yes, I know.
if I need to subscribe, I need to know about it.
You do.
Make a mental note.
But I think a part of the problem is this influencer culture, which isn't a bad thing. Okay, it's not. I know I'm going to sound bitter in this video, and I'm going to sound bitter in this episode, and it's not that, but like, I'm just sick of the fucking bullshit. I don't believe that there is a community among content creators. Like, everybody's out for themselves, and I'm kind of just over it. Everyone is so pompous with this bullshit. And, oh, I'm an author. I have 3 books, and nobody fucking cares. Your book is regurgitating shit we've already read. You're not special. Okay? You're not. I'm sorry, you're not. You're telling me the same shit I've already known. Just saying, the culture is just so weird right now. And I feel like my community is the community I have within the show and the community I built on my own channel. But as far as like an external full witchcraft occult community, I personally don't feel that there is one, because everybody is an influencer and everybody's trying to make it to the top, which is fine, except for the fact that really, truly, there is space for all of us, but the consumerism will not allow there to be space for all of us. Because as long as people care more about their image than they do about connectivity, this shit is going to remain the same.
Well, I think that's what makes us a little bit different. I know for my channel, I only have, I think, like 12 or 13 videos on there now, because I've changed venues of where I want to go and what I want to do. But I've always prided myself in not just doing strictly witchcraft. Like, this is a channel specifically about me. And yes, I have a husband. I have 2 kids. I live in Florida. This A, B, and C is part of me. Witchcraft is the overall theme, but I'm going to let you into all of it. It's not just, I'm not trying to hawk anything. I don't have a shop. I don't have a book. I'm not an author. I'm just a girl who lives in Florida, who practices witchcraft and has for a very long time. And, I want to share what it's like to be me and do the things I do and the things I believe in, my thought process and my head noise and my family, because I put my family out there as well. I want to share all of it, where a lot of people are picking and choosing what they want to show you. And if that's what you're into, cool, but that ain't me. And, when it came time to show some of my life and what I was going through at that specific time, which was building this house, I decided, well, it'd be kind of cool for my own needs to kind of to video the process of building the house, so that 10 years from now, I can look back at those videos and see when it was just concrete, because I'm going to be living here for a fucking long ass time, right? But when I put those videos up, because they had nothing to do with witchcraft, guess what? Nobody watched them, So it's one of those things that you have to also like feed to these people that want nothing but witchcraft. It's like, no, I'm giving you all of me. If you don't want to see my life and my witchcraft, then my channel is probably not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think people are talking about shadow banning, which is definitely a thing. I don't know. I know it comes off bitter. And that's not the way I mean it, but someone wrote collaboration, and I have to say, and I talked about this in my video, the one thing that I think can help is the people who are at the top of the hierarchy helping feed the bottom.
Yes.
And that's not the way it goes. When people reach a certain level of success, they stay there, they perch themselves, and they hold on to it, which they should. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. They worked hard for it. They've done what they needed to do. That's fantastic. But the witchcraft community, in my opinion, is no different than the beauty community anymore. It's not any different than the beauty community, the gaming community. You either are successful or you aren't. And everybody is a personality. Everybody is their own little thing. So I just try to stay in my little corner. I've been lucky and blessed to have people like Owlvine, who is friends with me. I've been lucky enough to have people like Ivy the Occultist do an interview with me on her channel. There are people who are big in the community who want to serve the community as a whole. But that's
yeah, I mean that's
not
what I
everybody.
always say about Owlvine is no matter how big that she ever got, she always responded to every she always responded to every freaking comment. She took the time to see me being bullied and reached out to this little girl she didn't even freaking know across the pond and was like, "Girl, I hear you." You know, that's what we need more of. These people that their channel blows up, they get kind of big, everybody knows who they are, but they don't forget where they came from. That's what we need, you know? So it's one of those things, if we could just duplicate Owlvine a couple hundred times, I think we'd be good.
Oh,
Well,
God.
and I think too, the difference is, and I talked about this in my video, everybody can be bought. And a lot of these YouTubers are bought. I'm just saying, I'm not going to apologize for it. They're making money. They don't want their image. They don't want their income touched, and that's okay. This goes along with a lot of political implications as well. I'm not going to get too political. I'm just saying, you know, and they've reached the top. They're making money. They're getting free shit, and they don't want to jeopardize that by, you know, wallowing with the pigs that is Wine and Witchcraft Live. But I do also think, look, the show's almost at 800 subscribers. Subscribe, share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. But there is a niche that's happening with things like Wine and Witchcraft Live, where people are getting sick of the perfect. They are getting sick of this PC culture, and they just want to connect with people on a more authentic level. And look, here's the thing. I'm just going to give it to you straight. We say some fucked up shit on here, a lot of stuff that is not politically correct. We rub people the wrong way, and that's 100% factual. But you will find authentic here. You may not like it, but you will find authentic. And that is very few and far in between in our community right now, because where there's money to be made, there's people to be bought.
Well, and that's the thing. We're not Wine and Witchcraft. We don't make money off this, y'all. This is something that we do purely because we love doing it. And I think that people I don't think people forget that, but I think that that's one thing that I think all four of us, even though Nina doesn't make content, I've interacted with her enough times to know that we're all genuine online and when the computer's off. We don't come here pretending to be someone we're not. We don't come here pretending, you know, that we have this personality or that we're this kind of girl or whatever. We come when the camera's on, we act like who we actually are. When the camera's off, we still act like that. And that's what you get at Wine and Witchcraft. We're not characters. We're just people. And if you came to my house right now and walked in my witchy room, dude, I'd probably hand you a glass of wine and be like, here, don't waste. You know?
Have some of my shitty wine here.
Right, exactly.
It tastes like us, but you like it.
Right. And like Leanne said, you know, I always feel weird saying that stuff. Why is that? Don't feel worthy sometimes. Girl, I struggle with that so much. And you know what the key is just releasing the expectation. You know, I had this expectation that if I gave it my all, I would reach success, that I would be, and you know, Owlvine and Brittany and I have had this conversation so many times. What do people want to see? Maybe we need to teach more. Let's do more teaching videos, but that's not actually who we are. And truth be told, I think 90% of the people who teach y'all shit don't have no business teaching you anything. Okay.
Well, and I completely agree. And I think that the biggest thing that we do is just be yourself, show what the fuck you want to do. Because how many times, Justin, have we talked about so many people in our comment section or little polls or whatever we say they want this, they want all these topicked videos. So we make the topicked videos and they tank. Like these people asked for it. We made the content and they don't want any part of it. So I got to the point where like, I will make the content that I want to make. If it gets views, it gets likes, it gets subscribers, great. If it doesn't, you know what? I did it for me. And that's what it comes down to, is like, you can't read too much in the analytics. You can't read too much in the subscribers, in the views, and all that stuff, because what that does, and we've learned it the hard way, is it fucks with your head, you know? And that's why I never wanted to be, you know, really big on YouTube. If I didn't get one more subscriber at all for the rest of my eternity, I'd be fine with whatever I have, 3,000, 400,000. I don't know how many I have. But I'd be fine. It's not about that. It's about the people that come to my videos, watch them, interact with them. That's all I care about. And then I go to their channel and reciprocate. It's a give and take. It's not just take. It's a give and take community. You know, I don't just make content and want people to consume it. If I see a new person in my comment section, I usually will click over to see if they have a channel. If they don't, okay. But if they do, I'll start watching their videos, because it's a give and take relationship. That's what YouTube should be. Not just, I'm going to make this content, everybody give. Come on, give me the love. That's not what it's about.
But it is.
But it shouldn't be.
I only have a couple subscribers because I don't have any videos.
I'm
But
one of
I'll
them.
tell you, I know, and it makes me so happy when I see, oh my God, a subscriber. The first thing I'll do, you know, because why should they subscribe? I don't have any videos, but what I do is I'll go to their channel then, and I'll start looking at their videos, and I'll start liking their videos. So it is a give and take. Even
So
on a
Nina, when
small
are
level.
you going to create content? When are we going to do this tarot channel?
Oh my gosh, last time I was on, I said I would be doing it, didn't I?
Well, you're in the category with Karen, the Witch of Crows, because she also told us that she was going to do it. And
Karen's my girl. Karen's my girl. No,
Yeah, fuck. Karen's a lying fucking sack of shit. She's a lying whore.
I'm going to, but you know, I'm not techie, and I don't want to edit, and I don't want to do all that stuff.
then just have your husband do it for you. He's techie.
Yeah, just he knows how to edit. He spends forever doing it. But I just want to throw the cards down, give the reading, and be like, there you go. You know,
Honestly, that doesn't require that much editing, to be honest with you.
yeah. It
Or
would.
go live, then you don't have to do any editing.
That's
Right.
a good point, because we've popped your cherry a couple times here, so you've done it.
You did. I was terrified the first time. Oh my gosh.
We all
You
are.
did great though.
Yeah. And I could do that. You know, I just don't want to spend all the time. I know how much time you all spend editing.
It is.
It's a lot of work. And people don't
It
know
is.
all the behind the scenes work that goes into it.
It's
Well, I mean,
true.
the reason
It's
why
true.
you know Nina is because you've seen Jizzy do it a million times, where he's in his room for like how long, editing and doing it over and over and over again. That's what people that don't make content. Well, not all of them. Some of them don't realize that you're seeing the final product.
Right.
This took like 25 takes and 16 screw ups and an hour's worth of editing to pull out all the stupid ums and whatever. You're seeing the final product. You're not seeing all the shit that I went through to make the goddamn video.
Yeah,
Right.
and see, I don't want to do that. I just want to throw the cards and, well, it could mean this to you or this to you, and go with it. You know,
Yeah,
Here
live.
you go, girl.
Live is going to be your thing, Nina.
Live is the way to go. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll try my first one live.
Don't worry, honey. We'll pull you onto the Wine and Witchcraft team real quick.
I mean, honestly, Nina does fabulous. She does absolutely fabulous. She's got nothing to worry about. She was a little nervous the first show, but now we've had her on a couple times. She's like, whatever, bitch.
She got this.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I said before, it's all about networking and just bringing people to the forefront. You know, the more voices we have, the more robust the community can be. And I also feel like the more we can have honest conversations and call people out, the better the community will be as a whole. That's a side note. But I'm just saying, you know, everyone deserves to have a voice and a space, and everyone should have value here. You know, like, this is the internet. There is enough space for all of us. I just really feel that the consumerism is what's driving the witchy space right now, and
Well,
that's
I think
on
what needs to
TikTok,
happen
that's
is
on
you need
YouTube,
the bigger
everywhere.
people to uplift the little people. And that's why a lot of the time we try to seek out people to be on the show that have 100 subscribers, that have 50 subscribers. You know, we try to expose them because we see their content. We want to showcase it so other people can see it. Because let's be honest, YouTube, they give us as suggested viewing the people with 45K, with 100,000K. You know, they give us all these big YouTube channels. Where is the little guy? They don't show you the little guy. So when Justin and I started this program, we were like, okay, well, we can have some big YouTubers on because that's fun too. But, you know, people love them. But we also want to have the little guy on, or the person that doesn't have content, you know, because just because you don't make videos doesn't mean you don't have a voice, you know? So it's one of those things where we want to give everybody a chance to have a platform to speak on. Do we have tons of subscribers? No. What are we at now? Like 400, something like that?
On the show?
Yeah.
800, I believe.
Yeah, almost 800.
Oh, I lied. 800.
Subscribe.
So we have 800 subscribers. Do we have 100 million? No, but we may have, you know, 100 more than someone else. And if we can have them on the show so they get maybe 50 more, 80 more, they deserve that, you know? So we're all about bringing that little guy up. And I think that if YouTube's not going to put it in the algorithm, they're not going to put the person with 50 subscribers that's got a fantastic voice, that has something to say, that has knowledge to chew on, then we're going to do it. That's basically what it came down to.
And I have to say, you know, Brittany and Alvine and I have had this conversation. I'm extremely lucky. I know they both will echo this. I've been extremely lucky, unlikely lucky that my little following on my channel typically watches and engages very well. I have to say, I don't know how I got lucky. I don't want to sound ungrateful because I'm extremely grateful. They listen to everything that I say and engage in the buffoonery that is my life. And, you know, and everybody here on the show, like Brittany was saying, we have like 800 subscribers. We're at $7.99. So, hey, share, like, and subscribe. But because it does matter. Like it does. As shitty and whatever as it sounds, it does matter because that is the name of the game. It does matter. But we're very lucky to have spaces like this where 40 something people show up live all across the world, are here right now engaging with us. That is something to be grateful for. And I know we talk about this a lot, but I know Brittany will echo the same thing. I don't want anyone to think we're not appreciative of the 40 people that are here, of the 800 people that have taken time out of their lives to engage in this show. Because this is fucking buffoonery. This is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that you did for 4 years, right? To whatever the hell we do here, I don't know why you are here, but thank you. We appreciate it.
I mean, honestly, nobody watches my channel, but I'm okay with that. Well, Justin was saying the sentiment that he's been really lucky that he may not have, 55,000 people or whatever it may be. But everybody, his views and his comments are abundant. And that's absolutely fantastic. Because if you're not subscribed to Justin and you're not watching his content, you're not commenting and interacting with him, then you're no good to me. So fuck off.
Definitely missing out.
But, my issue is that I did change my YouTube name about 3 or 4 times in the past 7 or 8 years. And the reason why I kept the channel stayed the same, but the reason why I changed it was because I grew out of, certain names and my life pivoted here, my life pivoted there. So it's kind of one of those things where like, I'm expecting people not to watch my content, especially since I took, 2 months off, which I didn't even realize. I was telling Justin, I was making my house tour video last week. And I actually went to go upload it. And how you see the last video that you posted? And I'm like, was that fucking 2 months ago? He's like, Brittany, that was like 8 months ago.
Long time.
So it's like one of those things where I don't expect people to comment, like, and subscribe at this point because I've been absent so much. But the ones that do take the time to, have even a smidge of interest in my life, or the ones that didn't unsubscribe when I stopped making videos for 3 months, that means a lot, you know, but I expect it. I mean, I only have 12 videos on there because I privated everything else. And, you know, I took a long period of time off because my life got too crazy even for me. You know, I didn't have time for this. I had time for Wine and Witchcraft, but I didn't have time to make videos. But, you know, now that life is slowing down and I'm settled and I'm getting back to making videos, I can only hope that I have the success and views and comments that Justin has, because I don't. People don't watch my shit. Whatever.
Hey, if I made a video, I wouldn't tell anyone. I wouldn't tell anyone. And then I just sit there like this.
Well, I told Brittany,
I would watch
it. Brittany posted a video and she's like, I only have like 30 views and it's been up for X amount of time. And I told her, I said, look, you went out on a limb for me. You shared. And so I was like sharing her on my community page. I'm like, I'm paying it forward, baby girl. I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to share you. But yeah, it's
it's okay. I mean, I get it. When someone disappears for a long period of time, you don't know if they're ever going to make content again, you know, and like Owlvine was saying, you know, Brittany, you privated like, you know, 85 videos. You know what I mean? Yeah, like
all the fucking videos.
So I get it. You know, with Esoteric Echoes, it was one of those things that, like, it's kind of like I feel like Britney Spears and Madonna, where I'm reinventing myself again. You know, Coconut Piper Skittle Palm Tree Echoes. Yes, bitch, that's me. No, my YouTube existence this second time around has been Skittle Cat, Palm Tree, Sunshine. Wisteria, Sunshine, Echoes.
Yeah.
But I'm done changing my name because I make fun of people that change their name and I'm like the worst. I make fun of people that do it, but then I do it. So I'm done.
You're growing, you're evolving, you're changing.
And that's the reason why I did it. Honestly, when I decided to change it, I wasn't going to. I bounced it off of Justin and Owlvine. I was like, do I keep the Sunshine State Witch or do I? Because I left YouTube for a while and did my own website type video content for a while. And I'm like, well, I'm going to come back to YouTube. Do I go back as Sunshine State Witch? Do I change it? And both of them were like, babe, you do you. Like, if you feel like you're having a metamorphosis moment and you need to move on from Sunshine State Witch, girl, do it. So I was like, I mulled on it for a while. I'm like, I fucking hate changing names though, because I make fun of people that do this. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to change it.
So, Owlvine, I know you were trying to skip over this. When is your next video?
Yeah, bitch.
I don't know, okay? This is probably a conversation for another day, but I have a lot of...
No, it's not. It's for a conversation for right now.
Okay, well, there's not a video up today, and that's all I have to say about it.
At least hers is an hour and 10 minutes long.
These are cult P tag videos are fucking huge. But honestly, so Justin sent it to us, I think it was yesterday, he was showing us, or the day before. And I hadn't seen it on Instagram yet. And I went and had a look and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, it's too much.
You're talking about the T tag?
Yeah, there's like 50 questions or something. I don't know. I know they're prompts, they get that, but
it's a lot. Like I said, mine is like
best to do in parts though, and instead of doing one solid video, do part 1, part 2, part 3.
I would love to do one of those videos, but I don't know. I have to edit.
That's a good
what the hell?
I think it'd be fun.
Tags are a great way to start. That's great. And actually, I will say I have been thinking about maybe doing a couple of tags just to
get back into
it.
Yeah,
because it's like, I mean, I've come back a couple of times now, but it's really weird. Like, just once you make that break, and I don't know, I mean, both of you guys left YouTube, and maybe that was really helpful. Just like, it's fucking done. We're not doing it anymore. But for me, it's always been in my head. Like, I will be going back. When am I going back? When am I going to do this? So I just like can't let go of it. And I tried an experiment last year with these guys where I was like, all right, I'm done with YouTube. Like, I was trying to do that. It didn't work.
No, you know why? Because peer pressure, bitch. That's why. We're like, so Justin and I have come back, Owlvine. When are you coming back? Like, is there a video today?
You know what it is for me, guys? And I feel like maybe this relates a bit to our topic, but I just feel like I have seen too much ugliness in the witchy space online, and I don't feel safe in this space, to be honest, to make content anymore. That's the
Well,
reality.
I'm going to tell you this. I think that there's a lot of fucked up people, and I've encountered a lot of them. I've done tags with them. I've collaborated with them, and they're fake as fuck. And I talk about this in the occulty tag, where I honestly, a big part of the conversation is about, efficacy and having a safe space to have constructive criticism and to basically call out people when you feel like they need to be called out. And there isn't a safe space to do that. Also because there is this mentality in the community where we have to just love each other and get along with each other. And, everyone's perfect, and not everybody is perfect. They're not. And I mean, I'm not perfect either, but there's a lot of psychic vampires and some fucked up people in this community. But there's not a safe space to have those conversations, because we're supposed to be all inclusive, and we're supposed to be PC, and we're supposed to, love everybody. And that's just not factual in what we, in the human race. It's just not. And there's a lot
jealousy
of
takes a big, huge toll in that people get jealous of other people. And that happens really huge in, the witchcraft community, because it is dominated by women. And jealousy is one of those. I mean, honestly, I think I read somewhere that women are the most vindictive, jealous, backstabbing animal species there is on this planet. Because, we're all animals. And out of all the races of animals, human women are the worst. And if you put a spirituality that unfortunately has pride, mostly women in it, you're gonna get that catty. This bitch has, this, especially with YouTube. Oh my God, like, I want to be Alvine because her hair is so pretty, or I want to be Nina because her hair is so long and blonde. Like, you get that jealousy shit. And I know Christina and I have talked about this many times, that we're at that point in our life where why can't bitches just be happy for other bitches? Jesus.
Yes, I went to a women's feminist college, and we all supported each other. We were taught to support each other, to build each other up. And I don't see that outside my college. I don't see that. I mean, it's sad. I see it in small circles, but in large communities, there's a lot of jealousy, and I hate jealousy. I hate that. See, that's why I want to do maybe a witchy tag video so people can get to know me. But do I really want to open all the way up and let them get to know me? I don't know, because I'm still a little guarded, because there's so many catty bitches out there.
Well, and here's the thing, Maple Birch Ivy, there's a difference between, I think she's saying constructive criticism and being fucking. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to just speak to this real quick. The reason why, and this is a topic in occulty, how do we deal with constructive criticism over shady, passive aggressive comments? Building a space where we can have open and honest conversations. The fact of the matter is we can't have open and honest conversations. And that's why we have this shady, catty, secret code among people where we talk about people without talking about them. Because if someone comes out on a video and says, hey, I had this experience with this other creator, and this is why I think they're bad for the community, people are going to look at you as though you're being a mean girl.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why this culture has been created. And the truth of the matter is, and I think Brittany can attest to this, and so can Alvine, in some sense, a lot of these content creators speak to each other. I've had conversations with content creators that are far above my success.
Yeah.
That tell me about other content creators, and vice versa. There's a lot of shitty stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people just don't feel comfortable talking about, because there's not a safe space to talk about those things.
Well, I mean, I got called out live on air for saying the word retarded.
We got called out.
People don't know me, and they don't know where I was using the word and what context I was using the word, and they thought I was actually making fun of mentally handicapped people.
I just really enjoyed that Boston just flew out of your mouth. Then that was beautiful.
Yeah, I heard it.
What did I say?
I'm not going to say. I'm not saying that word publicly.
But what did What word did I say?
It was an R, the R sound.
Oh, I didn't even realize I said it.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, I got called out for that because people don't know who I am as a person. As much as I've tried to be as authentic as possible on my channel, they thought I meant it as making fun of or, negating or whatever it may be, mentally handicapped people. That is not at all. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, especially the 80s, you know how we used to use that word. And it's become to the point now where people say that word is basically hurtful because it's making fun of mentally handicapped. Well, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, which these people probably have not because they're the younger generation, they think that now that word is the whole world is oversensitive. They think that word now is like, oh my God, you're making fun of the mentally handicapped. Bitch, no, I'm not.
Well, you can't say or do half the things you used to do in the 80s.
Right.
So.
And it's so sad because if you
how
knew
it
that
is.
part, like if you knew who I was as a person,
well, not only that, but you have to give people this is another thing that irritates me. You have to give people the space. This is what I don't like. If you have a problem with the word retarded specifically, right? You have to give people the space to understand why it's not socially acceptable anymore to use that word. You can't come at somebody. Mm-hmm. You cannot have an expectation of people. That's my problem. There's an expectation and an underlining code that we don't talk about that everyone's supposed to live by. And that's just not logical. And the situation, as far as, the word retarded is concerned, is, you were saying that I don't say that word, but that incident, people came at you very aggressively instead of coming at you from a spot of, okay, X, Y, and Z. That's not how you were approached. And that's what irritates me about
No, I was approached as if I was a really mean, freaking cold-hearted bitch who makes fun of people.
Correct.
And it wasn't, hey, Brittany, this is why. It's you should read this article, and and you really need to stop saying that because you're making yourself sound stupid. And I'm like, whoa. Have we met?
It's because it actually has nothing to do with you. It's that person making themselves feel large.
That person's own
doing a lot of that now.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. Maybe it depends on the situation, but it's everyone. Yeah, going. I am a big important person because you are doing the wrong thing, and I'm going to stand here and tell you that you're doing the wrong thing. But it actually isn't because they care about you or care about whoever else and want to, make the world a better place. It's because in that moment they want to feel high and mighty. And that's what we see a lot of.
And that's the thing. And, Brittany can attest to this. Me and her had conversations about that. And Brittany can attest to this, was like, okay, I can see your point. I get it. I get it. And I will try not to use that word. I get that. But that's not what it is. That's not the approach that people have now. There's this mob mentality where it's like, I'm telling you not to do this. And so you don't need to do it because I said you shouldn't do it.
And everybody in the chat right now, Kendra, Karen, it's a Massachusetts thing. It really was a hardcore we used to say when something, instead of saying that's really cool, we used to say things like, oh my God, that's wicked pissa. That's what we used to say.
Wicked.
But if you say that now, they think of pee and they think the word wicked, they think bad. You see what I'm saying? Everybody from Massachusetts had a certain slang, just oh my God, my 10-year-old right now, instead of saying the word okay, mom, or okay, he goes, bet.
Oh God.
Yeah,
that's
fuck
is that?
Okay, I have a question. Okay, I was wondering about this. Is the root of the word because you're I would put a bet on that? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
If you're yeah, I'm definitely sure about it.
Sus makes sense because sus is short for that's very suspect.
Oh yeah, we always use sus. Yes,
we didn't use sus in America until recently. That wasn't something that was ever part of English language in the United States until recently. It's oh my God, mom, that's so sus. We went to go get Luke some because he has to wear a uniform for his new school, but he needed pants to go to Kennedy Space Center. He only had the uniform shorts. So we went to this uniform store. They also sell scrubs, which I needed for my new job. And it was kind of off into the woods a little bit. And he's like, Mom, this is so sus. And I'm like, what?
I love
You
that.
know, like,
It was the language of my teenagehood. That's what we always said.
it's gone to the point where like I can't get mad at my son. I can just giggle at it because we had things like, "Oh my god, check out my new whip, yo," or like, "Hey, my god, that's so wicked pissa," you know, or "That's so retarded. You're such a fool. That's so retarded." You know, saying that's so stupid. You know, we had our own slang back in the 80s and 90s, and with the United States, every part of the country has its own thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you were from Massachusetts, you had a certain, like, no one else said wicked pissa or where's my whip. No one said that unless you lived in New England. That was just, but you go to California, you know, it's a completely different slang terms, you know? So Midwest had a completely different chart of slang, you know? But the slang now is like, I feel like my mom. I'm like, did my mom think about this when I said like, "Oh my god, ma, that's so wicked pissa"? Was she looking at me like,
what are these crazy fucking kids saying? Yeah, I know. We got old.
like when did we fucking get old? But now it's getting to the point where I got to remember. I got to stop and remember. Hey, Britt, you had some weird slang shit too, and now you know. You guys remember when fire was a thing? When like, "Oh my god, it's so fire." So
Yeah.
when my oldest, my 19-year-old, when fire was in, Anthony and I had this thing. We're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna start using their slang, just like it's nothing. So we start using the word fire all the time. We'd be like, "Oh my god, Sean, like I like your new sweatshirt that's so fire," and he stopped using it because he was like, "My parents are using fire. I can't."
Traumatic. It's traumatic. My parents tried to do that with me, and I'm just looking at him like, "No, you can't say this."
Yep, that's how we did it. So we made him stop saying fire because we thought it sounded so stupid, you know. Or like, I know what word I really hated was when people started calling their boyfriends bae. I was like,
bae. I never nah.
If you look up the actual word bae, it means like shit or like poop. It means something ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of them could.
Bad.
Bad. So bad.
That's it.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting language is so interesting and how it evolves over time. Like I even had people I said in a video like forever ago, I was talking about sexuality or something and I used the word fag and I had people messaging me telling me I wasn't allowed to use the word fag or faggot. And I was like, okay, listen, let me tell you something right now. I'm a gay person. You're not going to tell me I can't refer to myself
There's
as
so
fag.
much of that. Like, who are you?
Yeah. You are not going to tell me I can't use the F word if I want to use the F word. Okay. Not stay in your lane, baby girl. I'm going to use what word I want to use when I'm referring to myself. Okay.
You are allowed to reclaim your own words. Yes.
Right. Exactly. Oh my God. We're already at 1 hour and 31 minutes.
Oh my God. I didn't even realize the time.
That went really fast.
That went so fast.
Really freaking fast.
We didn't even go down any major rabbit holes. Where
I know. I don't know.
Well,
Justin got on his tangent about how the community is trash.
There was one decent rabbit hole.
You know, we went into, I think we talked about meeting each other, the four of us online, about this much during the show. This show was supposed to be about friendships. Let's just say that we all met. We're all witches. Some of us have met.
We hate everyone else.
Some of it is to be continued.
Besties.
Fuck you. You know, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to help the little guy, I guess is that kind of message. If you create a YouTube channel and you gain some notoriety, even if a little bit, you know, bring up your fellow YouTuber underneath you, you know, and fuck people who say that you can't be real friends on fucking line. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It doesn't make it any less real.
No, it really fucking doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And one day, Owlvine will make it to the United States.
Can't wait.
And we will all have a kumbaya. And Dreamtime Tarot will come down to Florida, or we'll go to Vegas, or meet halfway. Whatever. It will happen because it's gonna happen.
And I'm rescheduling my trip, so I'm gonna come out and see you and Justin, and I'll fly out to Orlando. And we'll make that happen too.
Yes.
Yes. Definitely. Justin is actually coming out to my humble abode next weekend. And we're trying to time it because the 4 astronauts that are going to the International Space Center are lifting off on Friday, March 1st. So I'm like, if you come out, we get to watch astronauts go. So we're gonna do a little space coasty stuff and all that kind of stuff. So maybe there might be a video.
Yeah.
Or a live.
Forever.
Yeah, there might be a live surprise live. So
yes.
Good times.
So yeah, I guess that's it. Look out for my video tomorrow. Look out for videos from the rest of the ladies, God knows when. But it will happen. And I think that's it.
Thank you everybody for coming. There was like 45 people here tonight. It means so much. I don't want you guys to ever think that your time is not valued, because it absolutely is. Come out and support us every other Saturday night. It does mean a lot, and it keeps us going. So with that being said, bye.